peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
So my vision is one of reforming the organization, it's one of recovery, it's one of renewal, and it's one of getting results for the multilateral trading system. I know this institution, I'm passionate about it, I know the corridors, I've walked them, I've negotiated in them, and I think it's one of the most amazing institutions for multilateral trade relations, for negotiations to take place, for countries to come together, agree on concrete outcomes for the multilateral trading system. I'm also running on my experience, my vision for the organization, and my commitment to reform. Every country wants to walk away feeling that they have achieved. That's what the WTO does for its members.
Now on the WTO website, and the statement she has just delivered to the General Counsel will be on the site very soon. Minister Mohammed will give a brief opening statement, and then we will take your questions. We will have precisely 30 minutes for this press conference. Minister Mohammed, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Keith. Members of the press, it's an honor and a pleasure to be back in the WTO today and to be speaking with you. I know that for many of you dialing in, this virtual meeting format is a challenge, but I'm grateful to those who have worked, Keith, to make it possible. I've spent the last 2 hours listening to the WTO membership, answering their questions and outlining my vision and experience that I believe I can bring to the role of DG WTO. This vital system is being tested as never before. The WTO was already in difficulties before COVID-19 struck. Its negotiating function had faltered with only limited successes in the last 25 years, despite the launch of the Doha round of negotiations at the beginning of the century. Trade tensions have increased, and the dispute settlement system has been compromised. There is widespread acknowledgement among WTO members that the WTO is in urgent need of reform. There are 3 key areas where the WTO membership needs to focus: reform, recovery, and renewal. We need to recapture the visionary inspiration of the original architects of the system. Governments must breathe new life into the WTO so it can play a key role in helping recovery from the pandemic and in rebuilding economic resilience. Reviving trade is essential to recovery worldwide, to boosting growth and sustainable development, and to easing the social and economic impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. Once recovery is underway, however, we still face the need to update the trading system to take account of crucial global issues like climate change, the digital revolution, poverty, and sustainable development. The WTO should be where governments come together to cooperate on formulating the best trade policy responses among themselves, share best practices, and reaffirm key principles. The WTO membership does not all share the same reform priorities. This makes it essential for them to work together to build convergence around elements that they can all support. I believe we can break the cycle of despair and enter into a new phase of hope and realism. I know that I have what it takes to be Director General of the WTO, to help the WTO make progress on crucial issues. And I know this because during my time here in Geneva as ambassador and later as minister, I have severally been appointed by the membership to chair WTO bodies, and that includes the ministerial conference. So I'm acutely aware that this is an organization driven by its members. I'm committed wholeheartedly to working collaboratively and inclusively to make this organization work better for not only its members, but for the whole world. As Director General, I would use my extensive experience to support the membership, work with them for reform and renewal of the WTO. I'm a strong advocate for the value of the multilateral trading system and the need to make it more effective. With my candidacy, I intend to offer a fresh perspective, one that is broad and inclusive, ensuring all members are involved in and contribute to decision making. And now thank you very much for your attention, and I welcome your engagement. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The first question is for Christiane Ulrich of DPA. Christiane, you have the floor, please.
Hello, Minister.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, Africa. Thank you very much for watching Punchline Africa Television, broadcasting all the way from the Republic of Kenya down in Nairobi. Thank you very much. In the headquarters of Punchline Africa Television in the CPD of Nairobi. Thank you very much. Good morning, Miriam Ogotu.
Very good morning to you, Doctor, and very good morning to all viewers.
Good morning. In Kisumu, we have Samson Onyango.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Masanga. Good morning, Professor. Good morning, Miriam. Good morning, our viewers across the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Back in the political command center, miles and miles away. Oh, before I go there, good morning, Professor Onyani. He has disappeared again. Good morning, Africa. Thank you very much. From the political command center, away from this Nairobi, from Kenya, away from Kenya. Good morning. Thank you. This is Punchline Africa, David Matanga, in the political command center of the television worldwide. Good morning, Professor Onyani. We seem to have a problem with the professor. Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for watching us. Thank you. We want to pay our courtesy to our entire crew behind the scenes. Thank you. We want to begin by apologizing for being late and having run over 30 minutes late. But we shall catch up sometime with an extra 20 minutes also on top of the hour. But here we are. Viewers, this show is purely a people's court. It's a show where we want views coming from the viewers, those who are online and those who are viewing today for the first time. But it's also a show for us, for our correspondents, for our anchor researchers to give us their views on the topics that have hit Kenya, the topics that have hit Africa, and the topics that have hit the world. We shall mix it, is what we call a mixed grill. A mixed grill, a catalog, a cocktail. Usually cocktail is associated with disaster, which Madame Miriam doesn't want to hear about cocktail because it goes towards a drink. But a cocktail can be a cocktail of disaster. Catalog, when somebody talks about catalog, those students watching us on the show, in the catalog, it means you are going to enumerate several examples of the things that are similar somewhere. Cocktail, it means it refers to a drink. That's why they separated these things. Okay, so the show is full of a mixed grill. That means good and bad. In a mixed grill, It is not necessary that the kidneys might be all right. The liver might be all right. The kidney might be sour. And the sauce could be very salty. That's what we want to see today, this afternoon, and this morning, up to the afternoon. Miriam will lead us with 419 numbers from the headquarters of Punchline in Nairobi. Back in we have a problem. Someone has put on among stars, someone is already. Professor Nyali. Yes, thank you very much. Before you join us, don't put on our loud. You reduce your volume. Prof, reduce your volume of your equipment. Thank you. So thank you very much, viewers. We have come back to the normal. And that's what we want to do this morning. Professor Onyali, good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Masanga.
I know you have struggled so much with these technologies of the Chinese. And,
yeah, I found my laptop. It cannot have the video camera, and now I'm trying to with the smartphone.
No, I think you should always have two of them at a go. So thank you very much. But thank you very much for being with us this morning. Professor Nyali is a chaplain of a church, a professor in conflict resolution. Is one of our in-house wisdom maker. That's all I can say. I was teaching a bit of English of J.A. Bright of 1967, 68, 69, when I was in primary school. And I was saying a mixed grill brings sour, salty, sweet. You mix them and that's it. Catalog narrates difficulties. Cocktail is drink. That's how Wazungu used to make us understand these words. And that's how today I am able to be in a mixed color and which matches with Miriam in the studio. I would also want to thank you for having used the same attire of the African value. And you have added value to this show this morning on Friday, since President Uhuru Kenyatta said we must support Kikoi industry in Nakuru and Eldoret. I want to plea to switch on to the younger generation, Amos, Mr. Samson, that on Friday in this television, this is how we dress up. And the Kisumu people are very good at dressing up in this. I don't know why you wanted to be so colonial, but it is very good for colonialism to have mentored you to the sharpening of the knowledge. Thank you. However, next week on Friday, Kitenge.
Yes.
Thank you very much. We can take over from here and sweeten the mixed green.
All right, thank you so much. And Doctor, for information, there are cocktails that they're called virgin, they're non-alcoholic. So I also enjoy a cocktail that is virgin, that is non-alcoholic. Yes. So thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Professor Nyali, have you and Samson, have you ever heard of this virgin what? Virgin Batanali.
Not really, Doc.
There's a cocktail called Virgin Batanali.
It's virgin cocktail. That means it does not have alcohol, but still you get the nice mixture. Yes, just minus the alcohol aspect of it.
Why can't you just use non-alcoholic?
Non-alcoholic. Well, we have to fancy it up, so that's what they call it there. I don't know why they give it that name, but I guess.
For your information, this is a Friday, Miriam. It's good you have started on a nice front of sense of humor on Friday. For our viewers, that the whole week we have been making a lot of serious statements that have shocked some people that they have nicknamed me Mr. Hammer. I didn't know that my new name in town is Mr. Hammer. It has caused me Anatoly suffering, so I will use it as a pseudonym, hammer@hammer.com. So, thank you for the hammering, and Professor Nyali for making sure that we hammer these thieves up to jail. Someone specifically, a friend of mine for more than 22 years, called me and he said, Mr. Hammer, how are you? You are now hammering people in Nairobi. What is the problem now? So I said, who called me Mr. Hammer? He said, no, that's your common name. Everybody said your TV is a hammer. Hammer. If you want something, get it from Miriam or Matanga or Professor. And the most deadly one is me. So, Miriam, you have been baptized a new name. Madame Hammer.
All right.
Take it from there.
In the meantime, yes, in the meantime, COVID-19 is really hammering us here, Doctor, as Kenya right now, confirmed cases stands at 11,673. The death toll is 217, and recoveries right now in the country stands at 3,638. And Uganda, the confirmed cases is 1,051, recoveries is 1,014. And South Africa right now, the figures there stands at 324,221 cases that have been reported. 4,669 people have died. Recoveries is at 165,591. And at Rwanda, the cases right now is at 1,435. 4 people have died in Rwanda, and recovery is at 752. And Burundi also, the cases have gone up there at 303. The total number of confirmed cases in the country, in the continent, stands at 644,333. The death toll is 14,047, and the number of people who have recovered so far in Africa is at 334,978. And as we speak right now, the cases globally are nearing 14 million with 13.9 cases, and the global deaths right now stands at 592,773, and recoveries are over 8 million cases there. So, Doctor, in a nutshell, that's where we stand as far as COVID-19 is concerned. So, Kenya, we're actually nearing 12,000, because as it is yesterday, we had another high recorded there. And that was expected, I guess.
Yes. Somebody is online, I think, wants to join us. Good morning. Just hold on, Miriam. Good morning. Hello. Speaking.
Okay, are you on program now?
Yes, live. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Australia.
Australia. Okay. Thank you very much. What's your name?
My name is Santlo.
Santlo.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Biafra.
You are from Biafra. Okay, make your comment quickly. We have 1 minute for you.
Okay. Mr. David, what I want to ask you is this: why African nation cannot rise up and demand Biafra referendum for United Nations? Are they not seeing all the killing that happened in the Biafra land? Are they not aware that Nigeria is sponsored the terrorists? Nigeria has a 7 deadly terrorist groups in Nigeria. Are they not seeing it? Why do they keep quiet on the way people are being killed, people are being raped? People are being beheaded by Nigeria sponsored terrorists. Why are they keep quiet? Is it because of their economic interest? Why can't they rise up and help and support the Biafra referendum? They want the Biafra referendum to the United Nations. the United Nations article number 3, self-determination is granted. It is free. Yes, Biafra has the honor to demand a referendum for Nigeria. To decide themselves whether they want to stay in Nigeria or they want to stay in Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We have had your question. We are also Africans.
Okay.
And we are Africans, and we have been making noise. So when you say we are keeping quiet, I don't understand you. You say African leaders have kept quiet, but we Africans, like me, have made noise since 1967.
I don't have the question. Why are they not pushing for the Biafra referendum? I only ask the question.
Okay, thank you. You have heard it, the panel has heard it. His question is this: why are African leaders keeping quiet? You know, today is their day to call it. It's people's call. They will ask questions from everywhere. So don't expect to be in a normal direction today. Things are hot today. So thank you very much. We shall answer your question along the way. Why are African leaders quiet when Nigerians, Biafrans are being killed? That's the question of the day.
Yes. That's right.
Thank you very much. Continue watching from down. What is the time in Australia now?
It's right after 13 minutes to 6 p.m.
13 minutes to 6 GMT. It means you are just waking up.
13 minutes to 6 p.m. I'm at 13 minutes to 6 p.m.
Okay, you are going to sleep now.
Yeah, I'm going to sleep, but
don't sleep. Yes, don't sleep now. Watch our program and spread it in Australia, the whole Australia. Let those colonial men hear it. We are going to answer the question of Nigeria. Oga, we shall answer it. Thank you very much for calling in, my brother, from Nigeria down under. The panel, you have had it yourself.
Yeah, we are set up to stay in Nigeria. We are not in Nigeria, we are Biafra. We need to go to our borderland.
Okay. The caller from Nigeria South in Australia down under, he said he's fed up in being called a Nigerian. He's called a Biafran. The panel, there you are, Miriam, started. Go ahead. COVID-19 is bringing even the names.
Yes.
COVID-19 is going to separate families. COVID-19 will break countries. COVID-19 will bring economic meltdown. Yes. Wacha moto iwake. Wakisha moto, Miriam.
All right, and Dr. Yes. As we speak right now, there are several counties that are staring at a lockdown as COVID-19 infections are steadily rising. And this story is on page 8 of the Daily Nation, and it says several counties are staring at strict coronavirus containment measures barely 10 days after movement restrictions on Nairobi, Mombasa, and Mandera were lifted. Kajiado, Nakuru, Uasin Gishu, Bungoma, Machakos, Taita Taveta, and Busia could be locked down should their infection rates continue to rise, with their leaders preparing for the scenario. So we seem to have solved one problem, but now there are other counties that were not recording high numbers, but now they are on red alert because of the numbers that are being recorded there. Perhaps, Samson, do you have anything to say to this?
Yes. Thank you, Miriam, for the question. To me, in my view, I think the new rising cases are as a result of the protocols that were eased last week part one by the president. I think the lifting of the session was not a good idea. I think that has really led to the new rising cases of the numbers of COVID patients. Thank you.
So, Doctor, when these counties, Kajiado, Nakuru, Uasin Gishu, Bungoma, Machakos, Taita Taveta, and Busia, should they get locked down and Nairobi is left, will the government have solved anything, or the counties there?
Change strategy. Change strategy. Anybody who has done a project management and let the Minister of Health hear me. Hear me. Trump and his doctor. What is his name? The racist man.
Fauci.
They have disagreed. I don't want to pronounce those names properly. I hate them. To be very honest, the way they have handled this whole thing is like a circus. Fauci and Trump. There is something missing. Strategy, management of COVID-19. Fauci is saying Trump, stop too much talk and concentrate on the priority. The priority of Kenya at the moment, you mentioned for me the districts again, Taveta,
Kajiado, Nakuru, Uasin Gishu, Bungoma, Machakos, and
Busia. Can I tell you what the problem? Prepare your ears. If one side of the world has closed the border, why are you waiting? Close Busia, close Bungoma, close Kajiado, close Taveta. Full stop. No entry. You know why? Why Uganda has no deaths and maybe why Tanzania has no figures? Maybe these guys are coming in here. Those in Uganda who would have been detected by the system have come in. Have you seen any in Turkana? Show me in Turkana, very few cases. Because there is a gun around there. West Pokot, show me the figures of West Pokot. Then now you can believe me or not. Close the border. Close Bungoma. Close Busia. Close Taveta. Close Kwale. Again. Close Migori. Those counties. Close them. Then you will know where, after a week or 2 weeks, you will know how things are working. Then come internal counties. Put back. Wacha moto iwake, tuweke hapa, tubaki hapa. Let's remain here. Let's remain here. Mr. President, let's remain here in Nairobi. And this time, don't put police, put the army, put commando units. The army does not want, they have everything in the barracks. They will not take your nonsense. So that if you want to go and spread corona in Murang'a, they carry it and bring it back to Nairobi. Utapata chitu chako kwa road block hapo. And all these panya roads, close them. Then identify the problem of Nairobi, solve it. Bring all the kids, as before this thing blows up. Bring all this medical personnel in Nairobi. Let's go for mass testing. Let's ask people, our people in Nairobi, to come out, because, Mr. President, the government, please, they are not disciplined. We drink up to 4 a.m. We are eating nyama. We are calling our girlfriends at 4 a.m. Toka kwa nyumba kuja. You are sleeping when there is nyama here. There is drink here. Sir, these estates are working immortal. So we should not hide to the president. We should not hide to the government. Those who want to hide to benefit, Matanga, I don't want to benefit. I want to see healthy, able Kenyans still alive so that I can continue with my making noise here. If the Kenyans are not there, whom will I make noise to? The streets will I go and shout in empty streets? That's why I come up on this TV. This television is a community TV. It's not commercial. I don't put here adverts for money. I educate the community. And if I fail to tell the government, my friend, President, whom I love so much, whom I have respect for, that the people drink at night up to 4 a.m. in estates. Bars are opening. Then I would be a very mad man who should not be in Umofia clan. I should be cast and eventually hang myself like Okonko. If I'm wrong, let the panel say I'm wrong. But if we don't face this thing like the way I'm facing it, then we should not have this TV. You call me the names, call me buffo, psychopath of Uhuru. Call me, go ahead. After all, you did not want him to be alive. But I came to want him to be alive. So you want me to leave him in the middle way? No. In 2008, you wanted him dead. So I will support him. And I'm telling him the truth now. You go and hang me. People drink. People don't wash hands. The supermarkets, those askaris at the doors are flower girls. There is nobody with high temperature who has ever been stopped at the Sanity Center. Let's go to the book now. Hey, that's how we are spreading the disease. There is nobody who has been stopped entering in one of these supermarkets. We are losing it. We are losing it. We are losing it. Professor, back to Miriam.
All right, thank you so much. So, Professor, Doctor is saying the police have not been doing a very good job. Now we need the disciplined forces with the boots on the ground. We need the Kenya Army to come in and try rescuing the situation. Is this the last resort we have as Kenyans?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Professor.
Yes, Miriam, thank you for that question. And let me tell you that we have said that people deliberately have to change their behavior and attitudes. The government has done what is humanly possible to ensure that they follow the protocols. Keep distance, wash hands, don't be in a crowded places. You see what is happening? People are drinking even the wee hours of the night. And the time has come. Time has come. I have said it here and I'm repeating again. Time has come for people to take charge of their health and their situation to handle this corona pandemic. The other day when we discussed Dr. Masanga, I went to the supermarket and I was in my evening kaput and then I found someone without a mask. And I stopped him and I said, why don't you have a mask? And why are you selling that he's not having a mask? You know what? The moment he had that, he took off because he knew he has already broken the law. So strict measures should be taken, even if it forces to use uniformed forces to handle this. So be it. But I'm appealing to my fellow Kenyans. Let us take charge. The second surge of COVID-19, other countries which have experienced that is too bad at the numbers. You saw yesterday the governor for Nakuru and other governors, they are saying that they are being overwhelmed. So time has come. And even if we go that way, yesterday I was saying that you go to another county with a certificate. I like the governor of Muranga, Mwangi Wairia. He had started that you don't go to his county. And the people criticized him. So time has come for the governors and the president to ensure that rock your county, let nobody come to your county, you have got all those powers. We have to team up and stay this pandemic.
All right, and so something else that perhaps we should note, even as we try as staying safe, according to an article here on page 8 of the Daily Nation, medical experts say staying safe from coronavirus is not just about distance but also time. According to the scientists, infection depends on how close one is to the virus and how long you are exposed to it. Now, the risk increases the longer one remains in closed, poorly ventilated places that might be harboring the virus. In larger spaces with better ventilation or outdoors, the concentration of the virus can be diluted by the larger volume of moving air. So in a nutshell, don't be in places where there's no enough space, where there's no enough air. So if you can avoid being in a crowded place, I think the better for you. So it's not just about how close you are with a person who might be having the infection, but also how much time you're spending close to them. I think also there is a factor that perhaps you need to note there.
Miriam.
Yes.
Miriam.
Yes.
Miriam.
Doctor.
You know what that means?
Yes.
Professor of distance.
and time. Professor of distance and time.
Honestly, that's why you 7.
Time is a factor, yes.
Yes, that's why that professor is time, how long you should stay, distance, isolated. The professor of distance. Professor Wanyenze, my own cousin, she graduated as a professor of distance. After being a mathematician, she did all the calculations added with psychology. She's a full professor in Makerere University. And she teaches people not to stay in one place for a long time. You see, staying in the house, isolating yourself, when the same air you are breathing is still coming, the same air, the germ stays longer in you. Isn't it what you have just read? There you are. No more words.
All right, thank you so much. Samson, you had something to say?
Yes, I had something to say. Miriam, allow me to echo the sentiments of my two seniors who spoke before me by saying that Kenyans are known to be reactive as opposed to be proactive. Most of the time, when rules are given, Kenyans are not. It is not part of their DNA to always respect rules, adhere to the rules. So I want to agree with them that we need to have more stringent measures put in place, if it means using the military to execute those particular rules. I also there is this particular trend where politicians, especially in the Western Kenya, holding political rallies. And in fact, they hold those rallies with impunity. Look at the case of Boni Aluale. Boni Aluale had a rally of over 1,000 people, and he was at times arrested, and after being released, he celebrated. So I think we need to have some discipline, even to the leaders that we elected. That some of them are former leaders. We need to put them behind bars so that we send a warning to other Kenyans. Thank you.
All right, Doctor, are we likely to see the country go back to lockdown? Because remember, President Uhuru Kenyatta, while he was lifting these travel restrictions, he said he's giving us 21 days to monitor our behavior and to see how Kenyans, if at all we are observing these measures that have been put in place. If not, should need arise, then and finds it necessary for us to go back into a lockdown, then he will not hesitate to do that in order to protect our lives. So are we staring at an imminent lockdown again?
I think the lockdown is going to be heavy this time with new measures and new tactics, new strategies that will change the entire scenario of COVID-19. Yes, they should. Yes. They should actually make sure that why do you leave people to go and spread the disease in Busia? Irresponsible people. When they reach Busia, the curfew is broken. They call their village mate, including the chief, to drink and to assemble at night. So we've lost it. So I think there will be a clampdown.
All right, Professor, the same question as we finish on COVID-19 and enter on other news that made headlines across this week. Are we staring at an imminent closure again?
Yeah, the president said that within 21 days, if we don't behave, he will do the otherwise. My take here is let him not just even wait for those 21 days. Let him just declare the lockdown as stiff one, as hard as yesterday.
All right, Samson, are you sharing the same view?
Yeah, Mr. being mindful of the interest of the Kenya, gave us 21 days to personal responsibility for COVID, but apparently we are not going towards that direction. So lockdown is indeed the last of us.
All right, thank you so much. So, Doctor, right now we turn our attention, if we may, to the other news making headlines on the Kenyan newspapers frontline before we come into, the week that was. Do we start with the Daily Nation?
Yes.
Yes. All right.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Miriam.
All right. So on the front pages of the Daily Nation, the main headline, Inside Ruto's plan to beat the system. Elaborate network of leaders is selling his agenda at the grassroots, while Deputy President is winning hearts through donations to the less fortunate. DP devised another strategy of, the hustler nation. Professor?
Yeah. It is very unfortunate for the name of a person, the deputy president of our country. This is the time for us to focus all our energy to fight coronavirus, which is a pandemic. He is focusing on how to become a president of this country by just donating to the less fortunate and taking the situation which is very, very vulnerable to people to do that. My wonder is, when you want to become a president in 2022 and all the people are dead, you will be a president of who? Mm-hmm. So let him team up with the president so that we fight coronavirus. 2022 will come, we will have an election, we will have a president, he will stand. If Kenya decide to elect him, so be it. But what he's trying to do now may turn against him because he's taking due advantage that these people are very vulnerable to this. All right. Let us focus our mind, appeal to the Kenyans to fight the coronavirus.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Dr. Deputy President William Ruto is using philanthropy to win the hearts of Kenya, and it seems to be working, according to this headline here on Daily Nation. What's your take on it?
To me?
Doctor. All right, go ahead, Samson.
Oh, thank you, Miriam. To me, I think the deputy president is not only being is not being fair to Kenya, but is also not being honest with himself and with the Kenyan. You know, politics is the last thing that we need right now. We are facing a pandemic within our in our media. It should be given the very first priority. So if at all he was very honest with himself and he has money like he paid, let him redirect those resources toward the fight against COVID. Let him team up with the president, all the necessary support as the deputy president. We need all these pieces of advice in terms of like with regard to fight against COVID. This is the last time he should be playing politics. Let us please face what we have currently, avoid taking the time for politics will come, and we will face it. Thank you.
All right.
Yeah, I'm back. I can hear you are on the real topic.
Yes.
The real McCoy. He says he's what? Planning to beat the system. What knowledge has he got? Zero. That's all I can tell you. I've summarized. Zero knowledge. People are dying. That's what I've just told you. I've just told you now. My role here on this TV is to serve Kenyans so that I can shout when they are there. But if Kenyans are all gone, whom will I shout to? Who will welcome me? Who will give me tea? Who will laugh with me? So if the deputy president is fighting the system, he's not helping Kenyans. He wants them dead first. Then he fights the system. If this report is correct, then he's fighting himself. Because it's the system. We don't know this system. The ordinary mwananchi in Kenya knows that the deputy president is in the system. He has not resigned from the system. He is part of the system. So what system is he playing? He started it wrongly. He's the one who initiated the problem. And he did not see the end game. And the end game is going to be tears. We have seen this elsewhere in Africa. Yes, it is only Mnangagwa who survived it. You don't fight Mugabe and survive. If I had not picked a phone and called the airline from Maputo, from South Africa, where would Mnangagwa be? 6 feet. Wachana wewe. Wacha wewe. Ambia watoto wako. Not me. Just forget it. Please. Let's go to next. This guy threatens people. But I've told you, when you are threatening people, leave space for you also to cry. Because when Goliath and David were fighting, David left space for his own tears. Miriam umesikia hiyo? Goliath knew he was a giant, but left space for his own space. My brother here has not left space for his own tears. You might need some people as you. Whom are you going to lead in the 2022? Dead people. The president is fighting coronavirus. Instead of you giving him an idea of what you can do You are busy fighting the system. If the newspapers go as they are, because I don't think he is capable of fighting the system, it's just all the people have run away from him. They have eaten the money. Mm-hmm. Have you seen some of the women who were saying they would rather die? They have gone already. Have you seen some of the men? Gone already. Mm-hmm. If I were the DP, I would spare my little money for my children. I'm telling you, because once you lose power, even this little you have will be taken. The children will remain destitute. I have been in the same situation, Baba, ndugu mpenzi, ndugu yangu, makamu rais. I used to have 5 cars, even one is for shopping for my wife, beloved wife, Esther. Go to the market. Where am I? I'm shouting on Kenyan TV. Power. Power. Ndio Mungu aliniona. Mungu anasema wacha nisaidie huyu. I'm telling you, this is a Friday. Don't you people don't look like you are in a city mortuary. Let's laugh a bit.
Yes, Dr. Masanga, and maybe just to come in on the Deputy President, one of the most important advice I could always give him is that never open so many battle fronts. He has been ruffling a lot of feathers, and he has enemies across the board. And
now
as a politician,
very soon it will be across Africa. Because
and politically, that is a very, very treacherous path to follow. And you might never know what hit you.
Exactly. What did I say? What did I do? What did I say? I am saying I had 5 cars. I don't want to say the equipment, some other equipment I had. Plenty. That's you were stronger to hear. I'm in your town. You run off.
Yes.
That's power.
Yes.
But where are we today? Onyango? Where am I? Professor? Where am I? Miriam, where am I? We are here. Mm-hmm. It is God. Remember what I've just said. It is God who said, let me help this man. Take me to where I am. That's why I don't want to hate anybody. Msisikie. Mimi hata mtu ananifanya namna gani. I pretend, I even laugh after about 2 hours. Because I've seen all this. Now when you say you are fighting a system, when you are in the system.
Yes,
which system
the same system that benefited from DOC. And perhaps also another notion that the Deputy President ought to know is that, this habit of framing others dynasties. And when we clearly know that even his first car, he never bought it out of his own diligence. This was money that he was given by the former president, Daniel Toroitich Arap Moi, who ruled Kenya for 24 years. And this is one person that he has framed as a dynasty. So if you are a beneficiary of the dynasty, if the dynasty has made you who you are, then you have no moral authority to Christian someone but in that particular terms. So I think it's the height of hypocrisy for the Deputy President. And as Dr. Masango talks, he needs not to fight some battles. Some battles are better left as they are, other than pursuing such fronts.
All right, thank you so much there. And that is the Daily Nation inside Ruto's plan to beat the system. And Dr. there has asked which system. He should be part of the system as it is. All right, so we turn our attention to... Yes.
That before you go, mm-hmm. In his system, mm-hmm. In his system, It is on page what? 5.
Yeah, page 5.
In his system, is he trying a regime change?
Mm-hmm.
And you people, Kenyans, be careful.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to say something?
Go ahead.
You want me to Toboy?
Toboy Daktari, the other time this position he was given by a foreigner some time back, some few months back, and you talked about it.
So let's go that route.
Please, sure. Let's go.
Let's go that route. I want the professor to say something. Why are you kept listening? Do you want me to say something?
Let us go to the deepest part of this and we unroot it.
You know why Mudavadi is joining Ruto?
Tell us.
They are George Soros orphans. Quisha. Did you ever see Mudavadi Foundation anywhere?
Of course, before 2017, we never had, even before 2018.
Not too much. Answer yes or no.
No.
No, of course, Doc.
So when Mudavadi went to America for 1 month, do you know how many dinners he had with George Soros, executive officer? Why are the two coming to a meeting point? One who says Ruto is corrupt every day.
Yes.
Coming back to smile with his body mass. That I am now I'm good. Remember, you Kenyans don't want to hear the truth. Lakini, remember my mouth. There is some money from George Soros pumped into this place through 3 channels. Channel number 1 is in that Mudavadi Foundation. Channel number 2 is regime change. Do you see Murkomen talk again? Whom was Murkomen working for? Before he became a teacher at Nairobi University. Who? Your professor, you are my witness. When they kill me, say I said it.
Nobody's going to kill you because we are with God.
Yes. Murkomen was working for George Soros. Do you see him making noise anymore? There is another one up in Kikuyu. Do you see him making noise anymore? How many people in Kenya were unopposed? Mention them. You have tickled my heart. You want me to pour it out. How many people in Kenya were unopposed in 2017? One man. Where did he get the money to make the constituency? Projects that he is proud of. Why did they hate a man called, a man who was the man head of NGOs? You remember that guy? What is his name? Why was he the most hated man?
Fazul Mohammed.
Fazul Mohammed was the most hated man. Why? Wacha tuende. Look at the money as the money has been coming in. Now there is nobody checking the NGO. The money is pouring in quietly. The two forces of George Soros are meeting to oppose President Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Those forces are Musalia Mudavadi. Wetangula cannot speak because the charge sheet of the embassy will be brought in 2 minutes. The only man who claims that is clean is who? The man from Maruru.
but doctor, can you also talk about the cemetery money?
No,
more than 200 million.
Why do you want me to talk about cemetery money? Is cheap things for you local. Me, I trust the account.
Mudavadi cannot talk about a clean pair of hands if he has a lot of scandals. We do know about Goldenberg when he was the Minister of Finance, and that is for the record.
Bring it on. When Trangura has hidden behind Mudavadi. So he can't speak. So Mudavadi Foundation, center. Who funds it? Where's the money? Who's contributing it? How many members are paying for it? Who has donated money? Nyenye wa Kenya mulale. Wacha tulale wa Kenya tulale. Wacha tulale wa Kenya tulale.
So, Doctor, and according to this story that now we are looking at, it says that according to insiders in his camp, DP Dr. Ruto will in the coming days stamp his authority as the president's principal assistant as he consolidates support to cement his bid. The sources yesterday told the Daily Nation that the DP will not bow to pressure from President Kenyatta's allies in Jubilee Party and resign. Instead, one of the lawmakers close to the DP said he will stay put and enjoy the trappings of power that will boost his campaigns until 2022. So, that is the strategy, exactly, according to the Daily Nation, page 5.
No, nobody can touch His Excellency, the Deputy President's position as per the Constitution of the Republic of Kenya. He's still the Deputy President, and that is all.
Yes, but Dr. Matsanga...
Wait, let me finish, then come in your thing. But the same Constitution could touch you. That's all I can say. So as he plans to just bump, instead of helping the president to fight the coronavirus, there could be checks and balances. So it's okay. Mimi, I like to see you doing very well. And I always pray for this nation. But any external hand, you see, do you know that the Baraka Muluka has never worked anywhere? He's the most bankrupt person I have. He claims to be a publisher. I don't see his books. That he's the Secretary General of a clan party.
But also Anki kids do not
talk about this Secretary General of a clan party of Maragori.
But he has never supported anyone who has won an election. All his candidates have failed in every election. Yes.
Mr. Muruka is like Harwale. If you ever meet Harwale in the morning when you're getting out of your house, run, go back to your wife.
The dictionary calls them hoodoos, Dr. Masanga. People, when you meet them, the day goes haywire. Like your day can never be successful there. Yes, they are hallmark of bad luck.
You don't know. If you are driving your good Mercedes, now I want to talk like the man from the net. Yes. crossing the road, turn in the machines, turn in the garage and see how your drink. And call people to come and see you from your house. That's bad luck. I'm teaching those in Africa, those watching this African norms work. A black dog to cross the road. And I'm also, if it is crossing from the right to the left, that is even worse. Rudisha gari, beba kifunguo, uambie mama, tayarisha lunch hapo leo utafanya kazi from home. Don't ever try. So there are certain people, I swear, you see, these things are coming. There's a network going on that wants to dismember Kenya. Be careful about that network. It smiles, oh, the citizen, the citizen, the citizen. Have you noticed that every time Davide talks is the citizen?
The same pair of hands.
He likes mentioning with his lips like wananchi, wananchi. You know, that's wananchi. Wananchi wako ubaya, the citizen is a bad law. Have you ever heard of Mudavadi donating one bicycle for COVID one night?
No, but Dr. Matanga, even go to Mululu, the constituency that he used to represent Sabatia. There's no development there. We still have very bad roads. We still have very dilapidated schools in Sabatia, where he was an MP, where the dad was also an MP. So they say charity begins at home. There's nothing that Mudavadi has done at his home or Western Province, that the former Western Province, that he can be able to bank his support on. And I think whoever is lying to him that he can stand for presidency in this country and be able to win it is really misleading the gentleman.
Okay. Mm-hmm. It is George Soros misleading him. You remember you remember what George, Mudavadi said when Ruto was in ICC? Can you just speak if you go ahead? Can you remember what he said? Hey, okay. Can you remember? You don't remember. I remember vividly. I was actually one of the most hated people in Kenya from 2008 to 2015. I want to tell you this is a secret. Even my family said, get out of that. Get out. Please, Matanga, get out. We are fed up of you. Get out. My wife came here and carried, even wanted to confiscate the passport. Yes, because nobody wanted to see me while I was fighting for the freedom of these guys. Even if Orengo did not want to see me. Let me now tell you the truth. Madame Orengo's wife wanted to fish me. Yes. She wanted me dead, finished. Shh. The catway. I was a monster. She told the people in the ICC that the monster is here, is in the hall, it has come. But you know me in Europe, I'm also a mafios. Yeah. I had already picked the information. They wanted me done away. That's why I could hold a conference and sleep very far from The Hague. I could book a room in The Hague and sleep in Amsterdam. Miriam? And that's my money I wasted. I booked the room in Hotel Movic in the names of David, and I leave it there. You come in the morning, they tell you there were people who were around here yesterday. So don't you think that I stood a risk? There were so many things, Miriam. So it is good. We are coming to that topic also under Kenya. Kenya has realized the problem now. It is the whole page 2 of the Star, of the Standard, of the Nation newspaper, the ICC. It's here. We should not hide away from discussing this. As openly it touches Africa and Kenya. So Miriam will be planning on how we do it. But for now, there's a plot. And that plot, the earlier the president delivers the BBI, the better for us. Remember, I want now to remind you people before I want to remind you people I want to remind you people that something went wrong. About 4 weeks ago, or 1 month ago, we served this country another signatures. Someone was buying signatures. Miriam, you did that show. We could have 2 BBI bills now. Did you know how those people melted into signatures? They melted. They were very annoyed with me. One of them said, that guy there, that one there. There would be 2 bills, the BBI and the Punguza Muziko. Then you know why the parliament should meet quickly and remove Chebukati. Because he wants to declare that the BBI have to do a referendum. We can't do it now. We can do it in 2022. Did you know that? So now, tumempata. All committees are ready to go. All committees are ready to go. The law will pass. Atalipwa pesa zake, arudi Bungoma, stay with, compete with Wesonga's BMW on the road. I saw Wesonga has a new machine. This morning was being washed. A new animal called Mercedes. So that you can compete with Mr. Chebukati around the villages. Yeah. Thank you very much, Miriam. Right. Bring the topic.
All right.
I'm ready now. I'm charged again. Back. Ask any other person to contribute on it. But I think I've summarized your feelings.
Yes, yeah, on the front pages of the Daily Nation, and I think on the Standard they're carrying out the same nearly. I think we've talked about that already. How Ruto, Mudavadi go for Raila jobs and convergence of interest. Lawmakers allied to Deputy President and ANC leader gang up against former Prime Minister, saying Orange Party is no longer in opposition and should give up oversight posts in Parliament.
You see? George Soros asked Matanga to be given another degree. I did there. Don't you think I hadn't seen that headline? A man who called Ruto a thief is busy quoting him even driving. You know, he doesn't pay bill. He likes people who pay bill. Even if you drink with him up to morning, he leaves the bill. One day he left me the bill in Club Afrique. You know this Club Afrique here? Amayo. Any of you who has ever danced there? Miriam doesn't dance, but I know professors dance as person.
I don't dance.
Yes. Any of you who knew there was a Club Afrique near on Museum Hill? You remember that Club Afrique?
It was a famous club.
Yes, he left me a bill there. I'd come with Sky News from London again. I used to be a frequent visitor here, man. Plenty of white guys. Bill, aligonga nafikiri mheshimiwa Minister of Finance, former Vice President, sijui nini. Yeah. Bill kubwa sana. Hii watu jamii walai. These guys are, is this the man you want to hand over your presidency here? Afadhali kufa na Raila.
All right.
Hey, me, I said the truth. Raila has got a good heart. Raila does not have vengeance. Me, I tell you, Raila does not have vengeance. Ile ya kushikana na kitu kwa roho. Wako na vengeance kubwa. When they become president here, sisi wengine tu sijui tutatafuta flight route number what? Ile unapitia huko sijui Indian Ocean chini kwa maji ndio ingie. Raila has no revenge tactic. You can look at his record. The way Raila went and shook hands with Moi, you would not think he had been hurt. So Kenya needs such a heart, Jamin. Not this chest bumping that I am dealing with the system. When you are in the system. Muchunge sana. I was a critic of Raila. Very staunch, tough critic. Because of a few things. But I never accused him of being a revengeful man. So many people went to him for me to be finished. Yes, he told them, no, why? Matanga has suffered more than me. I'm telling you, former minister of immigration, Kajwang, went to him and said, huyu mtu tutoe. Raila told him, no way. I'm now telling you a true story. He was a prime minister. He could have said, toa him. Alimwambia, no, don't touch Matanga. He's my friend for a long time. He has suffered more than some of us. People didn't know why. And I won't tell you why up to today. But soon when this frimbi is done, wacha tuone hii watu wanasema wako na system. Tuone. You can only beat Raila when I'm on the other side. But when I'm on this side, hapa kupande hii, na yeye, itakuwa moto. Believe me or not. Wacha tuambiane ukweli. whistle. Tunangojea, tunatisha sana. I wish they blew the whistle quickly. If COVID was not there, by now we would have seen the man and the boys. Tisha, what?
Miriam,
yes, yeah. Let's Doctor,
Yes.
are you?
Miriam, can I say something?
Okay, go ahead.
Yes. Miriam, you know, if one of the parameters of judging a leader is looking at the history of the said leader in question.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the history of the deputy president from the time of YK 92, from the time he tried to con the likes of Jirongo in that particular election, to the Kenya pipeline land saga, to Aurora and Kimarendam. This is somebody I can simply refer to as economic saboteur. It doesn't mean well to the country. This is somebody who harbors hate. You look at how he handled the likes of Governor Mutua. Mutua was crying the other time. He threatened him. Somebody who does not. Somebody who will turn this county into chaos. Yeah, that is all I have to say. And lastly, if you look at how he does his activities, he's somebody who has no heart for the country. Right now, we should be focusing on COVID, but he's focusing on campaigns of 2020. He's eager to make another dynasty. That is my view. Thank you so much.
Right, thank you so much. So of course, this
Miriam, let me voice my voice also there.
All right, go ahead.
Those who don't learn from history condemn to make the same mistakes. They are very good students of history. We know where this country has come from. We know the challenges we have gone through. And you hear me every now and again talk about the handshake, because I love peace. I'm a peace ambassador.
Mm-hmm.
We are focusing towards making this country being united and solve the problem which seems to divide us. But when you see you look at Honorable Musalia Mudavadi and the deputy president, what is their history? What have they done for this country? What can they be remembered for?
Yes.
So what is this at the moment? See the young, see Samson and what they are talking about. They are more concerned about this country. They should be more concerned of building a united country. Talking about you want to beat a system which you are part of it. Men of dignity and men who are gentlemen enough, you quit. You don't say that you want to be inside there so that you enjoy the terms in the office. History will come to charge you because you were earning money which you never worked for. So it's very unfortunate that we are discussing this. We should be moving. I know the way Dr. Masanga said, BBI is coming out. The 9 points which were identified by the Prime Minister and the President, we must address. This country, we must be on the trajectory of moving forward. So it is very unfortunate, it's their democratic right, but we are very good historians. History is documenting them. They know what they have stood for. There are people who have been in the system throughout, who have never seen no evil, talked no evil, smelled no evil, tested no evil, and now they want to tell that they want to take this country. Let them give us a break.
All right. Okay, very well.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Anybody who has anything to add before we move on to another subject?
Yes, I think Miriam, I really, Professor Gerard Onyari has really put a perspective on that, and that really sums it up. Before you really come to Kenyans, make sure that you come with something that really talks about unity, and of course, also he has talked about their legacy as politicians. What can they boast about to Kenyans so that now when they're telling Kenyans, we need your mandate to do this and this and that, what can they bring on the table and tell them that we've done this for you when I was in this position, I did this and that for you. I think Prof has put it quite great, well, and I'm in concurrence with whatever he has said.
All right, thank you so much. So, of course, this is the People's Court, and we were looking at the news that was first we were looking at the news making headlines, and so that is why we're having this conversation, because it was part of the headlines there on the Daily Nation, where it says that, inside Ruto's plan to beat the system. So in case you're wondering, so that's it. So now we go to the week that was, and of course this week we saw Kenya reject the chief ICC prosecutors nominee, and Kenya has rejected 4 candidates, and I think we talked about this yesterday, but I think it's also July 13th, 2020. Kenya's ambassador to the Netherlands, Lawrence Lenayapa, says the shortlist denies member states the opportunity to identify through open and transparent consultations consensus candidates. So we see there this week, and this is a conversation, as I said, that we had yesterday, but this was a highlight of a very important news item that happened this week. So Kenya rejected the bid for this 4 shortlisted candidate at the ICC. How do you think the other countries will receive this, a protest letter by Kenya? A rejection letter, yes.
Yeah, let me just have this say that Kenya is not a country to look at and take it just jokingly. We sit in the United Nations Security Council, and what we are not raising these issues for the sake of raising them. The process seems not to be very transparent. And that's why I'm very proud with the leadership of Kenya that things should be done in a transparent and accountable way. Remember, we are students of political science, and we are we cannot be party when issues don't go the way they are supposed to be. We don't agree by the rules. So I know so many countries are looking into Kenya. We have raised these issues, and more countries are coming on board. Let things be done in a transparent way. Remember, this is international court, international criminal justice court. So if we do not do things transparent, if we put the people who are in office and look at the candidates, there are question marks. Dr. Masanga yesterday were trying to say that these are people who George Soros want to be there. Why do they want to be there? It is because of the regime change. And you know, as we said yesterday, that international court has been there to mess with African countries. So we hope those who are more concerned about things to be done in a transparent way, those who believe in the rule of law and good governance, should support Kenya. And I'm seeing more support coming in. And by the help of God, we are going to make it. And even if we are not making it, history will record us that we raised the highbrow. Thank you.
All right, and the story is on page 2 of the Daily Nation today, and it says 4 years ago, Kenya led an African Union push for members to withdraw from the International Criminal Court, which it accused of unfairly targeting African states. That is no longer the case. It is now seeking a stronger court. While the withdrawal push appears to have collapsed, with South Africa's attempt to pull out blocked by its High Court as invalid and unconstitutional, Kenya's latest move of raising objections to the candidature of the 4 nominees to contest the post of ICC prosecutor has raised eyebrows. Doctor, I don't know if you can hear this. So they're saying a couple of years ago, that is 4 years ago, Kenya was pushing to leave the ICC and has since slowed down on that push to leave the ICC, and now Kenya is wants the bid of these 4 nominees blocked because of the reasons there that has been cited. So does this raise questions, as the Daily Nation here is saying, why now Kenya is so concerned about which prosecutor that the ICC will put in place while Kenya itself was, pushing to withdraw from the ICC. Does this raise any kind of issues there, Doctor?
Yes. First of all, I'm happy that a good professor is here. And I want to say what I want to say. Those who hate me, let's meet in the lobby, near God's lobby. If there is a lobby where he sits people before going. Kenya went to the AU to ask the AU to back them against ICC. Under Article 127 of the Roma Statute, which Songa missed yesterday. Very excellent debate. 127. Google it, you people have phones there now. But the dictionary is here. 127 says, if there is a misunderstanding in a nutshell between a state party with the ICC, that state party will write to the United Nations Secretary General confirming, giving notes of quitting the International Criminal Court within 2 years elapsed. During these 2 years, marriage counselors will come in to back, touch the back and then touch here, touch the foot to say, please don't leave. But once it collapsed, it totally collapses, irreconcilable differences. The party says bye-bye. The Roma Statute of July 1998, where Makau Mutua was not there, where Kegoro was not there, Harun Rubi was not there, Maina Kiai was not there, Ilake Otieno was a husband, a woman, married somewhere, was not there. I was the only man from that country called Uganda, with Twitter Mwangi, PS, who was working in the UN, Kenya's embassy in New York, who was in Rome. That's how I knew Twitter Mwangi in Rome, 1998. They had come from Rome, from New York for that meeting. Even none of these people in the Foreign Commonwealth Office was present. I saw in the Foreign Office. Tell me, where were they? None. Watch out. There was nobody there. I was there in the hall. In the hall in Rome. When we made this. Kofi Annan came with his delegation and convinced us. Hallelujah, God forgive me. And the same thing, you know why let me tell you the secret. Why today, why I wanted that thing to pass in 1998? Do you know whom I wanted to catch? Yeah. You know my nemesis. So, because there was one party state in Uganda, all of us had been walked on. All our stomachs opened and the people were walking on us. There was nowhere else to go. So, Professor Nyali, what did we do? We had to look for a way. We convinced the whole world. I convinced the British government and the other people. This thing is very good. We can catch dictators. Kumbe, hiyo kitu inakuja mbaya. I'm sorry. I created it to catch men who break the law. Now it came to catch men who have not broken the law. It came to Kenya, it started with injury number one, my own country. It caught one side, it left the other side. It came to everywhere in Africa. I don't want to repeat, but you have now, by now, Miriam can read Article 13127. You have it there. I know you're a very good reader. Read for us Article 127.
I actually don't have it here with me.
Whoever has got it.
Yes, please.
Has anybody seen Article 127?
Yes. But as they look for that, Doctor, at the center of the row is the Malawi-born Irish lawyer Fergal Gaynor, an ICC veteran who has worked at the International Court, Criminal Court, the International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia and the Criminal Tribunal for Rwanda. He was also the victim's representative during the trial of President Uhuru Kenyatta and his deputy William Ruto at The Hague, where they were charged with crimes against humanity following the post-election violence of 2008. Mr. Gaynor, who grew up in Nakuru, where his father, Frank Gaynor, was a teacher, is touted to be ahead of the pack since the outgoing holder of the position, Ms. Fatu Bensouda, hails from Gambia. Now, while Kenya has not said any of these candidates is conflicted, it says the candidates presented have relatively limited managerial experience in large international institutions and do not have the demonstrable diplomatic experience, particularly in engagement with states. So that is the main reason there that Kenya is putting forth. Is that enough argument, Doctor, even as we wait for that chapter there, for that research there?
A very big, you can see the money you are handing over. Have you seen? I like, you know why I like Miriam? Forever, until forever. I like her for her deep analysis, deep research. Mr. Gaynor born in Nakuru, a Malawian born, then Irish. Have you seen the problem?
His father is a teacher, was a teacher here, apparently.
Now, you know the person who brought the worst headache of all these cases is Fergal Gaynor.
He was the victim's representative during the Kenyan case.
Yes, Fergal Gaynor stood on ground and said these cases should not be terminated. And I'm shocked that this is the same man that the world wants to bring to be the chief prosecutor. This is the man who insulted AU and told us we are zombies. He zombified us. We can't give him this. This is a man who is, by virtue of being born in Kenya or Malawi,
raised in Kenya, yes.
Raised in Kenya.
In Nakuru particularly.
In Nakuru in particular, the epicenter.
Yes, the epicenter for the mayhem during that time.
Well, so, Kenya was right. If a man has such a checkered history, from Malawi, then Ireland, then the worst thing he committed is to put an amicus curiae on Palestinian issue. So did the committee consider that? It didn't. Cambodia, you see what he has done in Cambodia. Did the committee consider that? They didn't. And then they got Africans to be flower girls. They got my younger daughter from home to be a flower girl in a contest that is already decided. That's why Kenya has said unequal. Because the Ugandan lady will not pass anyway. The person going to pass is the British, it is the European man called Fago Gaynor. Because this year, this next prosecutor must come from Europe. And the country chosen is Ireland. France, George Soros, was against European Union. The only country that agreed with the European Union in Europe, when it is very near Britain, what is the country called? Ireland. You remember something called the Hardy border? The Hardy border. They closed that, failed Britain, whether there will be a hard border or because when you are from Northern Ireland to Britain, you just go. But if you have a hard border between Northern Ireland and the border with Ireland, then you have to apply for a visa when you are Irish. That's where the problem was. So here we are bringing something that will halt us. I think the Kenya government has done it very well to protest, and I agree with them. We shall help them. We shall help the Foreign Office. We shall, as long as the Foreign Office does not brag around, that they will be able to marshal support. Because at times they go on putting on wings when this support is not worth on the ground.
Very well, Doctor. Professor, the reason there that Kenya is giving, saying that the candidates presented have relatively limited managerial experience in large international institutions and do not have demonstrated diplomatic experience, particularly in engagement with states. Is that reason enough to block the nominees for the ICC top job there?
In fact, that is very true. In leadership, managerial skills is very necessary. Diplomatic relationship on how you handle nations is very important. So this is some of among other reasons to be considered. We have looked at his history, which is not adding up. We have heard what he has said about Africa in the past. He has called a zombie. So that kind of relationship on how you are going to interact with other nations. Remember, when you are a prosecutor, you need goodwill of nations to go and do the investigations. So when you lack those managerial skills, when you lack that diplomatic skills, you will make your work very difficult. And for the time you will be in office are wasted years. So the issues we have raised about managerial skills, you are going to manage people, you are going to deal with people, and the people are software. So if we have realized that and we have raised that, they need to be considered, and these are very serious issues Kenya has raised. On how you deal with the people is what makes an organization move. So that is enough reason to kick him out.
All right, Daniel, the same question, but also in that letter, Kenya says partly that it will be imprudent for state parties to settle for a candidate who have to recuse himself from some of the most challenging cases. So what Kenya is essentially saying, some of these people that have been affronted, that have been nominated for the ICC top chief prosecutor's job to of course, replace Ms. Fatu Bensouda, who is set to retire. Her official term ends next year. They're saying they have been entangled. It is an entanglement, so that their position is already compromised because of the cases perhaps they have handled before that. But also they are questioning their limited managerial experience. Kenya is questioning their limited managerial experience that is required for this particular post there. This argument by Kenya, does it hold any water?
Yes, Miriam, thank you for the opportunity. First of all, we have to make it clear that Kenya has been a victim of a botched case at the ICC. You remember President Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto were the ICC, and this is a case which was formed on fabricated evidence. The prosecutor had an intention to incarcerate them no matter what. And of course, those individuals who have been turned down by Kenya, we are not just coming from a vague imagination. These are issues risen out of conceit and quite deep knowledge. And of course, as a country which has suffered under the cruel bias of the ICC, we need to put it unequivocally clear that we don't need to have someone who has some predetermined perception about Kenya, someone who is pursuing some goal to achieve for certain people that were interested in the cases that were the ICC. So really, if you have to get a successor for Fatou Bensouda, then anyone who has a vested interest, anyone who has a skewed perception and intention, they have to be gotten rid of. And I think Kenya has a very, very genuine case. It's something of concern. And I hope all the member states, and especially those ones in Africa, because it has proven time and again that African leaders have been the biggest casualties and to the ICC's biased prosecutions. And of course, if we let this one go unchecked, then there's a high probability that some of these individuals might go back and really open these cases that were built on a very unfair basis.
Mm-hmm. All right, thank you there. So while Kenya was expected to leave shortly after President Kenyatta settled his case, surprisingly it did not. That is leaving the ICC. The then Attorney General Githu Muigai explained why shortly before he left office, he said Kenya was one of the first nations to sign and ratify the ICC treaties. And I'll quote him, we did so then because we believed, as we do now, that these international institutions are important for securing the future of the world. He told a meeting in Nairobi, but as we have seen, of course, Kenya, pedaled back in its bid to leave the ICC, and now we see the former Attorney General, what he said, that ICC is actually a very important institution, so it will be very important for Kenya to still stay there, because Kenya was one of the first countries that ratified the ICC treaty. Samson, do we still have a need for Kenya to be at the ICC?
Miriam, so to react to your question, allow me to drag you back to a point I made yesterday. Yesterday, I said that we, as a country, are members of the ICC by the virtue of having taken part in the ratification of the treaty. So, as such, we must make it clear to them that we are not squatters at the ICC. We pay dues to them. So all our concerns remain genuine. So, but then, if ICC, now to go to your question, if ICC can address all our sources of discontent, the concerns that we've raised about the other candidate who was, so as to say, as zombified African, as strained relationship with Kenya, if they can really address those particular concerns, then at least we can reconsider our membership with them. But then, if they mishandle our corner, if they mishandle our jet concern, then I think Kenya, it's time Kenya rethought about our association with them, and maybe empower African Union as opposed to ICC. So that is my take on that.
Mm-hmm. So, Doctor, I have now the Article 127, the withdrawal according to the ICC there. But before I read that, just the same question there, and that quote by our former Attorney General, who said the reason why Kenya slowed down on its bid to withdraw from the ICC is because that he, in his position, we thought these international institutions are important for securing the future of the world. That is what Githu Muigai, our former AG, said. Is ICC important for securing the future of the world? Doctor, I don't know if we have Doctor there, but Professor, you can respond to
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that's a very good question. Let me ask you.
I'm here, Professor.
Yeah.
Don't snatch my minutes. I'm here. I'm sorry I had muted the Miriam. You know, yesterday I told you on this thing of ICC, there are people who lie to their government. One of them is Professor Gif Mugai. He lied. Yes, he's my friend, but I call a spade a spade.
What was the lie, Doctor?
The statement you have read there. He lied because he wanted a job in international court. Yes. Remember, I am one stone that the builders rejected. And I am still here. They will need me. So if he says he didn't lie, you will need me again.
But for him to have said that, and for him to have wanted a job at the International Criminal Court, that means he believed in that institution. That's why he wanted to work for it in the first place.
But you don't use his statement.
He said he believes in the institution.
But my statements, if you look at them, I knew ICC was lying to jail Uhuru Kenyatta. I knew ICC was lying to jail Ruto. I knew ICC was lying to jail the Okapo 6. I knew it was fake. I knew NGOs wanted to jail them. I did not come from the background of an NGO. I came from a background. Look at me, of a fighter, a roaring lion in the field, a military guy who has seen a lot of chaos in my lifetime. And I stood, I said, ICC was fake. Up to now, there is nobody who has, and I repeat, who has told me I was wrong. Those who told me I was wrong, when they see me, even the cars will knock them in the streets of Nairobi. Professor Nyali and I, if we met Kisangani today, Kisangani cannot sit on our same table.
He will disappear.
He will disappear. He's now busy trying to tell Ruto that Ruto is a very good man, that I'm the campaigning manager who can help you. Kisangani said Ruto should be jailed. You were there in the university. I think Wesonga, that's your university. Were you one of the students?
Kenyatta University.
I was not in Kenyatta.
No, you were where?
I was in Maseno.
Maseno, you missed my lecture. Over 5,000 to 6,000 students. They clapped, they gave me a standing ovation. When I finished, Professor Kisangani, my friend Professor here was there. He went with me in the same car. Kisangani, Professor Kisangani told me Ruto should be jailed. He said it. Today I can see Kisangani is busy collecting some handouts. You know, I laugh. At least I'm a proud man. Hey, I'm proud. So when you look at this, Miriam, look at it from this point of view. Professor Gifu Mungai wanted these guys to be pleased. They wanted the international community. He was, you know, Mungai would have pressurized the Chief Justice, Mutunga, to create what we call, you know what is called? A special division of the High Court to try even the cases of Uhuru Kenyatta back in Nairobi. But they connived and they refused to create that special division of the High Court because they all had a background of NGO. Mimi, as Matanga, I speak the truth. Let it set me free. I can't say Professor Mungai was a very good man. Yes, he was very good at mortician language, but very bad on these cases. Very, very dangerous. I don't know why they hated their own people so much. Hey, do you know who opposed my work envelope? Do you know who opposed it?
It's Mugai.
Yes.
All right.
Yesterday I was knocking about the bush. Now let me hold your name. He opposed that the work envelope should not be given. I had successfully Onguto, a very humble, the late Onguto, Judge Onguto, a man who has studied international law on fingertips, disagreed with the other judges, said, give the guy the envelope, man, expose it, expand it, expunge the work envelope from the Kenyan politics. As long as the work envelope remains here, and I want to say it, let Raila hear me. Let Raila hear me. Let Raila hear me. Let Raila hear me. Let Raila, Ruto, Kalonzo Musyoka, whoever wants to be the president of Kenya, as long as work envelope lies of work envelope remain in Kenyan statute books and official parliament books, one Muzungu will come from Britain or Europe, arrest anyone in Kenya and take them to that same court. Whether today or 2022 or 2028, as long as that file is here, they will arrest people. Whether it is President Raila Amolo Odinga come 2022, or President Ruto come 2022, or President whichever, because I know Mudavadi will not make it. You know?
Mm-hmm.
If those two can, one of them will make it to State House.
Mm-hmm.
And don't say, how did Matanga know? I have known that. I can see one of them beating the other to go and become the president.
The clouds are forming, Doctor. Yes.
And the side where Matanga will fall is the side winning.
All right. Yes.
So, as long as that is there, we have a problem, Miriam.
All right, very well. So, Professor Phil Clark of the University of Oxford, in a paper published last year, claimed that the institution, that is the ICC, the institution, because of its heavy reliance on state cooperation, has enabled African governments to use the ICC to target their political and military enemies while protecting themselves from prosecution. This is Professor of the University of Oxford. So he's saying the African government, the ICC has enabled African governments to use the ICC to target their political and military enemies while protecting themselves from prosecution.
He has nailed it all.
Oh, really? You agree with
He has nailed it all. He has said that ICC, if I am in power and I don't want you, what do? I hand you to A.
Hand you over to
Remember,
ICC.
international criminal court.
So it is being used to settle
lies
scores.
on the goodwill of the governments to do their investigations,
Yes.
to hand over the culprits, the suspect. So it's 100%, and a court just like that. That's why I become a critic of that court, even if it appears to be so good that it can dispense justice, but that's not the case. If someone will use the court to score scores with you, then it loses its meaning. And I was saying, Article 127 is very clear. You can enter and you can come out. And hear this.
Yes.
A wise man changes his mind, but a fool doesn't. Kenya, when we were signing that that treaty, we believe that it will dispense justice. But you have seen what kind of experience we have gone through. So a court where United States of America is not a member, a court where Israel is not a member, a court where China is not a member, a court where India is not a member, are you crazy to continue being there? What have they seen that we have not seen? So that professor, I agree entirely with that professor, that at African leaders, if they see you becoming a threat, they end you. In fact, that's basically what happened with the work envelope. That's why the 6 decide. So you can see they wanted to please the government and they wanted to please the opposition. So the opposition cannot say that you have taken our people, neither will the government then say that you have taken our people. So that is not the kind of court I support.
And I have the article 126, that is the entry. But before I get to it, Dr. I read it in just a short bit. Daniel, last month, the U.S. President Donald Trump signed an executive order authorizing sanctions and additional visa restrictions against any individual who have directly engaged in any effort by the ICC to investigate, arrest, detain, or prosecute any United States personnel without the consent of the United States, or have attempted to do the same against a U.S. ally. So are we not a U.S. ally? So
yes.
Miriam, yes.
I think that is a very, very good point. And one thing you have to note is that the U.S. Is a very, very advanced democracy, and it's always ahead in terms of checking where there's some kind of impunity, where there's corruption, where the moral standards do not meet a certain threshold. And even when it comes to funding, it won't fund a country or a project where it has seen that there's some level of corruption and impunity. And of course, if the US seems to have such a cold relationship or perception about the ICC, then that is what the ICC is. The ICC doesn't have the moral authority. It doesn't have the integrity. It doesn't have even the credibility to oversee some of these cases across the world. And making it worse is that the ICC has only concentrated on the small fish, the small African countries, which are not by any standards be compared to other developed countries. So whenever, as Dr. Mathanga says, whenever you see the United States of America raising an alarm or maybe issuing a warning about something, then just go to the bank and you'll earn interest on that one. So I think there's something bad about ICC. It's not just only the African countries that feel that ICC is a very, very skewed court. It's a failed court. So the US now is just telling you a point, and I think the member states should look at it from that perspective.
All right.
All is not well with the ICC.
All right.
Okay.
Yes.
Here we are.
All right. Well, according to the Rome Statute.
Here you are.
Yes.
Media.
Yes.
Here we are.
Yes.
Sunday Nation. And the Sunday Nation of 2008 the month of June. It is here. It prints United States tycoon stirred up Paul chaos in Kenya. Here, is here. And unfortunately, you can't see.
I can see part of it. Can you read for us the, yeah.
Okay. The evidence is a tough, conservative United States American national by name George Soros has been accused by the United States Fox TV host Glenn Beck while interviewing Obama and told his listeners on Thursday, July 2008, that Mr. George Soros, who backs Obama in the election in America, also played a pivotal role in facilitating and having played a role in fomenting complete chaos in Kenya. Ndio hiyo hapa niko nayo. So you tell me, niko nayo, nikusomea ingine. Another one. ICC case highlights the divide between the myth and the reality by Dr. Masanga. Niko nayo. Everything I have. In this one, I told the world the reality between the truth and the lies is a myth. You can't, it's a cloud. If you walk there, you fall, you don't know where you are falling. People did not listen to me. Miriam, I have a whole file accusing so many people. But one thing, as you go ahead, the Kenyan traitors are at it again. Believe me or not, they are at it. They are pleasing people. And for us who have supported these guys, we have to be very careful that we must not lose focus. If you can only read that withdraw, let people understand. They will know what I'm talking about.
All right, very well. So according to the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court, Article 127, called their withdrawal, it says a state party may, by written notification addressed to the Secretary General of the United Nations, withdraw from the statute. The withdrawal shall take effect 1 year after the date of receipt of the notification, unless the notification specifies a later date. A state shall not be, that is point number 2, a state shall not be discharged by reason of its withdrawal from the obligations arising from this statute while it was a party to the statute, including any financial obligations which may have accrued. Its withdrawal shall not affect any cooperation with the court in connection with the criminal investigations and proceedings in relation to which the withdrawing state had a duty to cooperate and which were commenced prior to the date on which the withdrawal became effective, nor shall it prejudice in any way the continued consideration of any matter which was already under consideration by the court to the date on which the withdrawal became effective. So what they're saying is, even if Kenya withdraws today, the cases will still be
no problem.
Will not be affected. I don't know if I've interpreted that right.
Before Samson comes in,
yes.
Listen to this. Even if you withdraw, the case will remain there.
Assuming
but if you have withdrawn, it will be very difficult for the chief prosecutor to work in Kenya again. That's the difference. You get my meaning? Because if you have withdrawn, the chief prosecutor now cannot walk into Burundi and arrest anybody unless he goes to the Security Council and the Secretary General of United Nations begs Burundi to allow, and the matter has to go through the Security Council. if China has interest in Burundi, walai, it will veto.
Yes.
That is the safety net. Matsanga's brain and others, we have put the safety net. Others might not praise me, but hallelujah, I have to praise myself. I was in that conference in Italy. So forget about this rest of it. All these younger men here, Onen, all these are cases that are fabricated. This guy was taken as a kid. He was told, if you don't kill, killing, you will be killed. What would the kid do? What would the kid do? Now you judge him for having killed. Where is the balance? To save his life, he had to kill people. That's why we put a peace process in Uganda. We saw this mess. Museveni, myself, and other people, we saw this mess. And we put a peace process to help all these younger people to come home. 112,000 troops are sleeping right, nice. Na wanalala wanafanya up there. In my country. All of them is because of this mouth. So wache wale wa Kenya wanacheza na mimi.
All right.
I have men who have surrendered. They have gone home. And they shook hands. They don't play anything to do with a gun anymore. Not because they don't know it, but they know it. But once we shook hands with Museveni, we said hallelujah. Never would I come back to fight him again. I helped these younger men because the international law was going to kill them. The UN asked me to help. The EU asked me to help. The AU asked me to help. Uganda government asked me to help. That's why I left my beautiful palatial home. I went to suffer in Garamba Park with insects. Unfortunately, there are no mosquitoes. Insects, snakes, elephants, everything to look for peace. So I'm happy. ICC wanted us to fail. We refused it as Ugandans. We chose the way
Peace.
to negotiate face to face. Peace is holy in Uganda.
Very well.
Museveni is winning northern Uganda with 95.55% of everybody there is saying hallelujah. Hallelujah. Peace has returned. That's my role. And I prayed it, finished it. God help me.
Thank you.
So when you come here and you don't withdraw, Miriam, when the marriage is so, your husband is tonight, wife is even locking you, even if she eats more food than yourself. You know, there are some wives who eat more food than the husband. That's why a man like Daniel might not marry. Because every day I see him display his whiskey, his big bottle. He needs that space alone. But when you bring a wife who eats more than yourself, Aromba and Daniel be scared. You need a wife who gives equal, even you more food, then you give her something. But some wives, anaanza kurarua chakula. the whole saucepan is gone. Then he gives you small units. And then, do you know what?
Stop.
Even the children start crying. Mommy.
Maybe you didn't bring enough food, so it was little. That's why she was able to eat all of it. Perhaps next time bring more food for everybody. Doctor, stop.
I have been in this type of life, Miriam.
But Professor, I wanted to say something
Friday,
on the ICC.
Let me champion something small. Big Friday. You know why I did not marry.
And please, doctor, don't scare these young men from getting married. You need to encourage them to get married when you tell them.
Wesonga, have you seen the way Wesonga this place is bottle of what is it called? Grief what?
Wesonga. Just make sure you bring enough food for the both of you.
Can such a man marry?
He will marry.
Wesonga used eating alone on the table.
Bad idea. But
Wesonga writes on the social media that I want experience about marriage. How do you feel when you are married? He's writing on social media, asking. Now he puts a whole plate of food. Yesterday there was a big plate of food. My friend, when you marry your wife,
just bring enough food for everybody. Make sure you bring enough food so that she will eat.
I'll eat myself later after the show.
But Professor, you have something to say.
You should listen.
Yes.
It's a tough life ahead there.
Come on, we're not that bad, Doctor.
No! There are some women who can eat and the children are even crying.
Those are very special. Those are very special women. The mothers I know will sacrifice for their children. Majority of the women, especially the mothers, will sacrifice for their kids. That I know for sure. Professor had something.
You are saying some, not all.
Very few.
No.
Very few.
Miriam, a few days ago, Miriam was telling us a story.
Doctor, but she still feeds her children. She's just saying they're eating too much.
You know, Miriam was telling us a story of parents who are very upset.
Now you'll make my friend have problems with me, because there's a very close friend of mine.
Because the children at home
are eating too much. They're teenagers. Yeah.
Can such a mama?
Yes, she sacrifices. She does. She sacrifices for her children.
No, the children are watching.
She doesn't. I know her. Doctor, stop. Professor,
okay.
You wanted to say something on the ICC when Doctor before Doctor came in.
I think the man who wanted to say something is Alomba.
Is Alomba. Okay. Go ahead, Samson.
Unmute.
Yes, Miriam and fellow panelists, there is something I wanted to say. Of the many reservations I have against ICC, one critical one is the manner in which they handle the withdrawal process. You know, it should be a free entry kind of arrangement with little restrictions. You talked about a clause there where they were talking about maybe if you withdraw, there's some far-reaching effects that will be on you. So, personally, for example, I want to cite two examples. When they are arraigned, the president and his deputy to the Hague the other time, you know, that alone is an act that has a potential of plunging county into chaos. So that is an enough ground for Kenya to withdraw. But then the process of withdrawal is very long and tedious. And to me, there's some mischief. Why are they putting a lot of restriction? So to me, the whole process of withdrawal should be easier, so that, you know, the way it is right now, like Dr. Masanka said before, we have enemies of Africa, like the George Soros. What if they bribe the Chief Justice, or they bribe the judicial system to in order for them to refuse the withdrawal process. Will they micromanage our affairs? Yeah, that is my honest opinion.
All right, thank you. But I think you know the steps.
The point I wanted to say, Miriam, was that Kenya has seen a danger of these nominees. Some of them have represented countries before. And of course, Article 42 of the Rome Statutes allows them that they can excuse themselves so that they don't become overpart. But why should we subject to ourselves for people to go excuse themselves when we know very well that we can go full rank in having good people in office? So that is a good group of that Kenya has seen, and let us not have people in office to go as that you are having personal interest of representing one of the parties. So that is a point which should be considered. And as we have said, once you get out of the United Nations, and I've said more than 2 countries which sit in the Security Council, which have got veto powers, they don't belong to ICC. How do you expect them to handle a case where they are not a member and they have got veto powers? So ICC, we should be, it is either we belong, or all countries of United Nations belong to it, or it breaks down.
For me, I prefer it to break down. I bury it and blow the building up.
We can use the building for other things.
No,
you don't want the building at all.
You know,
Miriam,
I am Israeli.
Okay.
I'm like an Israeli.
Mossad.
You touch, yes, you touch one African, I'm with you. That's my motto. I behave like Lakum. Lakum. The inner heart, unity. Lakam. We don't joke. Mark my eyes.
I'll do that.
Yes, we follow you. We are not going to keep quiet. You touch any African, we shall be there. So, Fatou Bensouda, the Gambian, worked with the French, with Fatou Bensouda, to bring Ghana to be in the committee. So the Ugandan is a flower girl. The other one is also a flower girl, a flower woman, a maid.
It's just for a formality. It's just for a formality, but.
Yes. The man taking the whole crown.
Skena.
Who will cover them? Who will cover their sins?
Cover their tracks.
Because there are so many people waiting for court summons. Hundreds of them waiting in private courts of the country where you go back to reside. In Africa, there is a court. If you touch somebody in Gambia, he will come to Kenya, in Arusha, in Tanzania, and file a case. Am I wrong?
Yes, you are right.
Now you can't run away. Fatou Bensouda wants someone who will cover them when they leave office. They thought we are fools. They thought Matanga is a fool. Lacan. Powerful. We follow you. That's the training I have here.
Called what?
Yes, and Miriam, maybe if I could just chip in, Alomba brought in quite an important point.
Yes.
In regards to the ICC, we have to realize as Africa that we do have a problem. We do have a heavy hand of the oppressor still laying over our heads, and this is the ICC, because the ICC has been very biased on the way that it has been handling cases. A majority of these cases, Miriam, sometime back you read, actually the lion's share of it. These are cases which are in Africa.
9 out of 10 cases currently at the ICC.
Yes,
are from Africa. 9 out of 10.
Yes, and there are a few that are outside Africa. Either they have stalled or the case haven't yet started. So I think when Alomba talked about moving out of the ICC, I see that as the ultimate journey that Africa is going to chart in the future. We need to move out of the ICC, come back home and be able to forge a justice system that will be able to resonate with our diversity, our culture, and bring equality amongst our people. So we have to form some kind of an African court which will be able to look at African issues and conflicts without any bias or any discrimination. So I think that is the ultimate journey, because as it is right now, we are paying dues to ICC, but the ICC has turned out to be a tool being used by oppressors to drive their agenda and really diminish the African continent.
All right.
So in the long run, Miriam, I think we need to get out of the ICC.
Okay, and part of this article on page 2 of the Daily Nation on this ICC matter, it says, but at the heart of it, some insiders here in Kenya believe that the ICC will continue to deter politicians from starting ethnic feuds in the country for fear of being taken to The Hague for trial. So partly that is the reason why we are still at the ICC. So it is a deterrent. Very well, so let's just, yes. So we still need to be there then.
You have a point. It is a deterrent.
People will get scared.
Also used to select political opponents.
Yes.
So it doesn't work now. If it is a deterrent, let it be very uniform. But it should not be a deterrent that selects.
That is selective.
One, the short one, Joshua, and the other one, Tom. You know, that is not an organization that I took part in that I wanted to be on planet Earth.
All right,
no,
Doctor.
That is an obnoxious, flawed organization that must be refused, that must reconstitute itself. It must reform. You can't have a prosecutor. She's a prosecutor. She's an investigator. He is an analyst, an assessor, and then she is the determinant on how many years he should serve.
Very well. Thank you so much.
ICC first charges you wrong. You plead wrong. You are sentenced. Then they come to investigate. That's the court we are looking at.
They work in reverse.
Yes, in reverse. Before you saw Ocampo came to enjoy our women here.
And even the Kenyan cases themselves, they said it was wrongly done. ICC itself.
Now the ICC medium, now you are coming to my point. You want me to go for nothing. Look here. They came out and said this was fake. And they had accused Matanga of being a liar. I want Wesonga to look for the judgment where judges told Besuda, it is on ICC, that you are not going to tell us to declare Dr. Matanga a vexatious litigant. Because she had told me that I was a liar. She told the court I was a liar. I don't want to go to 6 feet in that ground. My children, when they are crying, that is gone. Then somebody says I'm a liar.
Oh, vexatious. What was that term again?
Vexatious.
That is a
somebody who goes to the same thing all the time.
Vexatious.
She called me a vexatious litigant. And I'm a liar. Now later on, the same prosecutor came and said, I'm not a liar. The information Matanga gave is correct. So you tell me what I should do. When the people are mourning me, when I'm down there, not hearing, let the people mourning me as a lakum, a man who never lost a battle, not a liar. That's why I'm going for the chief prosecutors. Private prostitution in London, and I will get it. Let him ask Museveni how we stopped his plane from flying. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Tulisimamisha plane. Stopped it from leaving Heathrow. Yes.
Doctor, you stopped a whole heads of state.
Yes.
You are being vexatious.
Yes. Someone, my friend, English law is not the law you pray about with here. The one of Maraga, this tall man here. Useless.
All right. Very well.
No, Miriam.
Yes.
You might think I'm telling a lie.
No.
Today is Saturday. Friday, let me tell you what happened.
Today is Saturday. Yes.
No, Sunday, Friday. President Museveni took over property of a man, my cousin, called Dr. Jesse Mashat, we were in 1978, 79. We started publishing a newspaper called The Weekly Topic. You remember The Weekly Topic? It was there, Mr. Elida, Professor. He took over that property, kila kitu. Ananyang'anya. Anakaa huko na soldiers went playing inside there. For the last 35, not 20, it was then 23, 24 years. 23 years. The man kept on begging him, please leave this thing. Let me sell my thing for, So, I advised Mashata to go to court. Let's struggle. My friend, the English judge looked at us crying tears in court. You know, tears. We had 10 people crying tears.
You went and became dramatic in the court, Doctor. That's what you guys did. 10 of you.
But it is allowed.
But it worked.
Professor. Ask Professor.
That is a form of manipulation. Did it work?
No, we had already argued our case.
Yes.
The man called us as witnesses.
So you resorted to crying
one
in
of
the
the
court.
witnesses who said, I was one of the contributors of the Weekly Topic. The judge awarded, do you know how many millions? Voila. He awarded 42 million pounds. Uganda government.
Did it pay?
Sio ngoja usikie maneno. When the summons was served on Uganda government, they even wanted to kill us. They wanted to kill that doctor friend of mine. He's a very senior lawyer in the London law. Now, I encourage him that you see now this thing of crying in the court as electors. Let's start the move. So the judge hammered 42 million pounds to be paid in the conversation. Do you know where we first go to attach? Do you know where to attach? The Uganda embassy building. Don't joke with these things. I'm telling you, these things can happen to Kenya. You saw the president paying 1 point. How many billion? 1.8. Is it 23 billion shillings? You remember? President Uhuru Kenyatta paid. They attach your plane, not even a single tire can move. The whole building, even the furniture. So the ambassador there was Professor Kiria. I went to the professor and I spoke my language. Said, please, this thing could embarrass the museum one day. Because you know me, I have another heart which is sympathetic, which others don't have. When they get me, they really beat me. They beat me heavy. But me, I have a sympathetic heart. I said, if we embarrass a whole state, but then I remembered how Museveni embarrassed me in 1993 in front of 10,000 people when I tried to ask a question. Just a question. He said, I will eliminate you. You come to Uganda, I will, you see, these are the people that I don't like to hear. So I said, okay, I kept quiet. The embassy in London refused. Guess what? We took back the court order. Now, the judge, you know that Muzungu likes the black people, just like our faces. He said, what else do you want to attack? Does the man himself come here? Does the man himself come to London? We said, yes, he always comes here. Okay. You go back and find out when is his next trip. The next trip was with that aircraft, Uganda Air, with a flag. The president was sleeping in Pakalene Hilton, sleeping after eating cassava and milk. When he woke up, his mind as ambassador said, Your Excellency, you can't go to the UN. Wesonga, activism is now I am retired. You know, you go to Heathrow to watch the action.
You even went to watch, Doctor.
Honestly. And you know the courts in London work 24 hours. So the time the president, we waited until to have this service at about 3:34. So that, you know, the night flight across to Atlantic doesn't happen. Now you have to go to court at night. So the ambassador said, Mzee, ndege imechukuliwa na ile warrant. Every possession. British police, several with the stars entered the aircraft. He said, oh no, oh Jesus Christ, sorry. Yeah, they did, all these bodyguards were disembarked, left on the tarmac, sealed with, you know that thing there, sealed. No touching, no opening.
No wonder Museveni has a bone to pick with you, Doctor. You gave him a very hard time.
Yes, the president had to go to court. That night, he sent his lawyers. Ilikuwa kali. We did not sleep that night. The judge came at 3 a.m. At night to make judgment, adjustment. But he said, before you leave, deposit something.
Because the plane
you know,
had been
it's better
grounded.
take little than.
All right.
They deposited, Uganda government deposited cash money, cash, all the money that was with the boss. They collected, I think it was a lot. I don't want to tell you here. They deposited with the court because the plane was not leaving. So don't play with this. I'm just sharing. That is one of them. We went with Mugabe to Paris. As we came out of the Go airport, I was in the delegation and I was going to escort the president up to the plane. When we arrived, the plane, this man from Britain, you remember the guy, the gay man from Britain, the powerful gay man from Britain, what is his name? He's a powerful guy. Mm-hmm. He had got a warrant to arrest the President Mugabe. A warrant issued by the French court. And the guy came. People didn't know him. I know him. I said, Lucy, stop that guy. Because in the French law, if somebody who has a warrant touches you, mm-hmm. it means he has served you. So you don't move from that place until police custody. So the bodyguards of Mugabe mm-hmm. landed on the boy. Walimpatia. Tunacheza kwa tamak. Mugabe, we had to run President Mugabe. Tunamubeba kutoa. Kuingiza kwa nani? We had to put him on the plane to go. To enter the plane and close the door. Because if, the man is called Peter Touchwell. He's a well-known, powerful British politician. If he had touched Mugabe in international law, that was the end, Miriam. Mm-hmm. So this thing you are talking about of ICC.
So was he going to serve a subpoena or a warrant to execute a warrant of arrest?
No, a warrant of arrest.
Okay.
Personal, you know, there in Britain, somebody can serve it on you. Mm-hmm. That Miriam, I've arrested you. Citizen is right. I've arrested you. Mm-hmm. You have to report to court, or you stay here, police take you. He came also with another section of police. He served Mugabe. If he just managed to touch Mugabe like this, mm-hmm. Mugabe would have languished in Paris. We were just living from the Food Agriculture Organization.
Wow.
Wow. I flew from London to Paris. Wewe nyenye mcheze jameni, nimepigana vita huko nje. By then I was a fit guy, fit. You can't play about with me. Fit. And we rescued Mugabe. The plane closed the doors, therefore you cannot touch it. It's no longer on the French territory. The president was in Zimbabwean territory, inside the plane. Those of you who should study international law,
yes,
who will proceed with international law, like Wesonga and you and the media, you will fight international law. It's a very interesting subject. In fact, you can be more organized and very proud, especially when you come from those areas of Busia and the lake. If you have studied international law, you are the proudest. Because you don't deal in have a tactics of bribing smaller magistrates to win cases. You deal with big giants who you bring down, like Ocampo. International law is very interesting. Mm-hmm. And I recommend any of your children, your sisters, yourselves to study. That's why I recommended my last born to take it, and not from this. She's 21, she's finishing next year, and if she gets second-class degree, she will repeat. Because there will be no job in the world for her. I want a first class. Because that's what I'm suffering for. I'm being called names because I want her to have a first class, not tell me in 60 something. You're stupid. Don't bring a report to me of 60. I want 75 above.
Distinction.
Yes, no, first class. So there, you show anybody in the world anakupatia kazi, upesi. Stuck after wasting all these hundreds of thousands of pounds. Where will you take a degree
All right.
without honors?
Yes.
Kwa watu wengine wanapata degree hakuna honors. They wanatembea hapa mjini wanasema they are also graduates.
Without honors.
I can't employ you without honors. With no honors, flat degree. Usilete kwangu.
Honors.
The song, I hope you didn't get a flat one.
Not really.
and the man up there, your degree was not flat. Did you get honors?
Yes.
Honor degrees. Hapana ile ngine ya Dar es Salaam University.
Ya Dar es Salaam University. Si ile ya Leadership Institute huko Makerere. But as we end, no, I don't want that conversation. I was just joking.
Even me, let me leave it.
Let's leave that alone. But yes.
Miriam, my president, wrote a thesis. Do you know he wrote a thesis on who? Can I tell you? He wrote a thesis on Fanon funds. Or funds Fanon. You know that Frenchman? The Wretched Earth? You have read the book, The Wretched Earth?
Yes.
How many of you have read the book?
Yes, The Wretched of the Earth.
Yes.
Of the Earth.
And Doctor, I'm being told Professor is about to go to another engagement in the next few minutes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
So perhaps, because we're even, I think, way past the time.
We're about to finish.
So
we wanted to talk about WTO.
Yes.
Only in one sentence, 1 minute. Professor, you said yours on WTO.
Yes, go ahead. Kenya's candidate, of course, for top post at the World Trade Organization, that is Ambassador Amina Mohammed, has said she will push for reforms in the global trade referring body, even as she pledged to remain guided by the member states. Appearing before the WTO's highest decision body, known as the General Council on Thursday, Ms. Mohammed told the group of envoys that she will encourage member states to pursue what she called reform, recovery, and renewal of the global body, charged with providing rules of trade. Professor, is our very own Ambassador Mohammed, is she capable to take over this body, very important body?
I am not saying this because I'm a Kenyan. I'm to be given that position. And once he has spoken about reform and recovery, once he has talked that he wants to bring the glory of the World Trade Organization and renewal, this is the candidate to go. If she's given a chance, I have no doubt that she has got experience and what it takes to reform that institution. I want to appeal to our African brothers who have already been selected. If they can give her that opportunity, they can be able to do. She has got the necessary experience. I support her candidature.
Right, thank you so much. And do you have any last words? I know you're supposed to go to another engagement, so that as we conclude. Professor.
Yeah, the week has been tough. We have discussed topics which means well for the continent of Africa and Kenya. And I want to appeal to my fellow Kenyans that wash your hands, keep social distance, avoid crowded areas, go out when it is necessary, and let us be our brothers' keepers, as the president has appealed to us. And by the numbers itself, we don't change the attitude, we don't change the behavior, then a tough and necessary lockdown is required. Thank you.
Right, thank you so much. And Professor, it was nice having you on the show. And of course, over the weekend, enjoy your weekend. We'll see you maybe on Sunday, I think, if you'll be available. But thank you so much for your time. All right, and yes, so we'll start with Samson, and then we'll go to Daniel, and then Doc will end for us. So Samson, anything that stood out for you this week? Also, as you look at that news, our very own Ambassador Mohammed is going for the World Trade Organization there, the top position there in the world. Is she the person for this job?
Definitely, Miriam. The ambassador has a very long-standing academic and professional repute. The history speaks well for her, and I know if she gets the necessary support from the African counterpart, she's good to go. But then another thing I wanted to say before I end my remark is that today, as Africa, we are in a very delicate situation. You realize today Kenya is being bullied at the ICC, but our neighbors are really silent. Our neighbors in East Africa are silent. South Africa, everywhere, everybody is silent. So this really does not augur well with the spirit of Pan-African. Even right now today, we have very few Pan-Africanists. The likes of Masanga, no one is giving them support. That is a very dangerous trajectory that we should not really praise. Thank you so much, Miriam. Thank you so much, viewers.
All right, thank you so much, Samson, and right, go there. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you so much, and thank you for being part of the show and over the week. Thank you. Daniel, yes.
Yes, thank you very much, Miriam. I think that's on Ambassador Amina Mohammed. I think that is a very, very good position for Africa and Kenya at large. And of course, having already bagged a position at the UN Security Council, the slot at the World Trade Organization will come as an icing on the cake. And it will really do us good, considering the situation that right now we are in this kind of situation, the pandemic. So it will offer us a very good opportunity to recover as an economy, and also perhaps bring a better bilateral deals to the Kenya's negotiation table, the global scene. So it's something that we really hope and pray that Ambassador Amina Mohammed is going to make it to the position. And of course, as a country and as a citizen, all our minds, thoughts, and wishes are with her. We wish her all the best as she moves forward to secure that position for the country. That is my parting shot.
Thank you so much, Doctor. End it for us.
Thank you very much. Madam Ambassador Amina Mohammed is my sister from another mother and across from another father. She served well, she has served well in her docket as a Minister of Foreign Affairs. We have worked very well together during those days of the tough days of ICC. They saw it needed a firm, powerful person to steer Kenya through the dark waters, the dark alleys of international conspiracy theories. Madam Amina Mohammed did very well, steered Kenya through all the time through the cases, and showed leadership qualities. She has the will, the communication, the way to speak out. It cannot go without. Nobody can comment and say she doesn't She has it. She has worked there before. She has been the chairperson for those ministerial conference, council meetings. She knows tariffs. She was a Minister of International Trade. The only thing that I pray is Africa and what they give it to her. But one of the problems that we have, which I highlighted this morning or yesterday, I don't know whether it is today or yesterday, the divisions in African Union. We put 3 candidates. We divide our own vote before we go to seek more votes from outside. So we weaken ourselves. But let's pray that with the Kenya, all the 3 countries are powerhouses of Africa. Kenya is a powerhouse. Egypt is a powerhouse. Nigeria is a powerhouse. But between these powerhouses, we believe Amina will emerge as the winner and get the work. We want to thank God. We pray. Especially I pray. I always pray for her. I wish her good luck to become the new WTO. WTO needs a lady. Ladies are good negotiators. Ladies negotiate where men quarrel, ladies talk. Where I see things are hot, I will call Miriam to go and do the bidding for me. Because when somebody sees Miriam pleading, he said, now, okay, let's go and tell him to bring this and that since you came here. So we pray that Amina gets it. And on behalf of Pan-African Forum, we have already issued our statement. We have issued our statement. We don't need to talk about it more than what we have said, but we need to encourage. It's a consensus. The team build consensus, and she gets it. Thank you very much, all of you. Thank you. And with Songa, I don't know. This new machine, I don't know how we shall reach there, but I need also to celebrate in it.
All right.
That one is my younger brother.
All right. All
Whatever
right.
the situation is, brother, it looks like I might also need to do a check. Yes.
All right.
All
Thank you.
right.
Thank you so much.
Miriam, thank you very much for wearing the yellow
Yes.
and for sending in the feelings.
Huh.
No, yeah, what do they call the spirits? They talked to me
I don't know what that is.
to wear yellow. Don't you think so, Mr.
Yeah.
Professor Shakespeare?
It's matching, Doc.
Very matching.
Only that you are not in the same studio.
Hey, you know, we would have looked like a
Daniel, you need to stop right now.
Lulu Hassan and
Lulu Hassan
Stop, Daniel.
and Rashid Abdallah.
and people had been in the studio.
All right, Doc.
People would say, "Hey, wow."
Yeah. I usually pick my outfits a night before, so all right. Thank you so much. Doctor, thank you so much. And as you said
Thank you so much, Alomba.
all right.
Alomba looks very worried. Songa,
Yes, Doc.
I will talk to you to do something for me.
Oh, okay, there's no worry, Doc.
Yes.
All
So
right.
let's talk about Alomba. Don't worry, I'll talk to you
All
shortly.
right. All right. Yes. Thank you
I'll
so
talk
much.
to you shortly. Don't get worried. You will soon be all right.
All right.
And I wish you good luck, Miriam, on Sunday. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. And even as we do that, well, Amina Mohammed is among 3 candidates from Africa's Doctor there has said. The others are Nigerians Ngozi Okonjo Iweala, and another one is Abdel from Nigeria, and Abdel Hamid Mamdou from Egypt. And Miss Mohammed is returning to the contest at the World Trade Organization, an organization she worked for before and served as Kenya's ambassador to its headquarters there in Geneva, Africa, which has never led the organization. Was tipped to be the best placed continent, but fronting 3 candidates has been seen as its weakness. And also, in other news, there is another Kenyan who is flying the Kenyan flag high there. A Kenyan has been appointed to the plum job at the IMF, and Mr. Seda Ogada, who went to Lenana School and Aga Khan Academy in Nairobi for his preparatory education, is the next Kenyan to land a plum job at the International Monetary Fund. This is after the multilateral lender named him secretary of the fund. So another Kenyan there getting another international job. Thank you so much, our viewers. Doctor, thank you. And the rest of our panelists. We meet here on Sunday, I suppose. We'll see you on Sunday.
Peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.